Hello, Rama Rama Puppotu. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with the next chapter. It appears that the first Shankara flourished over 2000 years ago and that he was one of the greatest of the historical Brahmin sages. He might be described as a rational mystic and as a philosopher of first rank. He found the Hinduism of his time in a disordered and disrepute state, with its spiritual vitality fast fading. It seems that he was born for a mission. From the age of 18, he wandered throughout India on foot, arguing with the intelligentsia and the priests of every district through which he passed, teaching the doctrines of his own creation and acquiring a considerable following. His intellect was so acute that usually he was more than a match for those he met. He was fortunate enough to be accepted and honored as a prophet during his lifetime, and not after the life had flickered out of his throat. He was a man with many purposes. Although he championed the chief religion of his country, he strongly condemned the pernicious practices which had grown up under his cloak. He tried to bring people into the way of virtue and expose the futility of mere reliance on ornate rituals unaccompanied by personal effort. He broke the rules of caste by performing the obsequies at the death of his own mother, for which the priests excommunicated him. This fearless young man was a worthy successor to Buddha, the first famous caste breaker. In opposition to the priests, he taught that every woman being, irrespective of caste or color, could attain to the grace of God and to knowledge of the highest truth. He founded no special creed but held that every religion was a path to God, if sincerely held and followed into its mystic inwardness. He elaborated a complete and subtle system of philosophy in order to prove his points. He has left a large literary legacy which is honored in every city of sacred learning throughout the country. The Pandits greatly treasure his philosophical and religious bequest, although they naturally quibble and quarrel over its meaning. Shankara traveled throughout India wearing an ochre robe and carrying a pilgrim's staff. As a clever piece of strategy, he established four great institutions at the four points of the compass. There was one at Badrinath in the north, at Puri in the east, and so on. The central headquarters, together with the temple and monastery, were established in the south, where he began his work. To this day, the south has remained the holy of holies of Hinduism. From these institutions, there would emerge, when the rainy seasons were over, trained bands of monks who travelled the country to carry Shankara's message. This remarkable man died at the early age of 32, though one legend has it that he has simply disappeared. The value of this information becomes apparent when I learn that his successor, whom I am to see this day, carries on the same work and the same teaching. In this connection, there exists a strange tradition. The first Shankara promised his disciples that he would still abide with them in spirit, and that he would accomplish this by the mysterious process of overshadowing his successors. A somewhat similar theory is attached to the office of the Grand Lama of Tibet, the predecessor in office. During his last dying moments, names the one worthy to follow him. The selected person is usually a lad of tender years who is then taken in hand by the best teachers available and given a thorough training to fit him for his exalted post. His training is not only religious and intellectual but also along the lines of higher yoga and meditation practices. This training is then followed by a life of great activity in the service of his people. Let's continue the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Puppotu.